Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mike. Just a quick little picture there of a vehicle I used to have back in the 80s. Kind of a rare looking truck. That was a 1973 Ford F-250 Highboy step side. But the step side box was 8 foot. It's the large one. So I found that at a used car lot in a local town. It was an old county truck for the county that used to use it. So I bought it on the cheap. Had a lot of miles on it. Did my little thing to it. Put the big wheels on it and whatnot. So yeah, and then you guys have seen that picture already, and that's the picture of the Mustang that's behind me. So anyways, today's program, or today's little video, is going to be about some repair on the Galaxie, the 1965 Galaxie 500. I'm going to start doing some window opening repair. There's a couple of spots that have rust where the windshield glass actually attaches to the car. I'll show you one right here. This is on the passenger side. Towards the bottom corner here, there's a little rust hole here, and I kind of drilled out the rivets and I cut it. I wanted to keep the outside bend here so I don't have to try to mimic that, and that was in good shape just like the rest of this is. Just right down in the actual corner is where the rust hole is. So I managed to drill out some of the rivets or loosen the rivets, and then I take a chisel and pop it, and I cut it with the wheel, and I just got it loose, and lo and behold, here's the underside of it. There's more rust. So I'll have to clean that up, see what I can do with that. Hopefully I don't have to do much to it, but the kind of interesting thing about this is hard to see here, but right in this area there's 3 layers of metal. There's the inside, there's the inside corner, there's a seam right here. Let's see if I can get in here better. There's a seam right here, and that would be this part of the body. And then you have the front, probably the back side of the cowl. That's underneath this guy, which is part of this piece here. Kind of move it up here a little bit. Then there's another one at the actual top side of the cowl that's on top of that. So from basically here to where was that? Right here, there's a seam right here. There's another seam right here. So there's a little section here. There's actually 3 layers of steel that's spot welded together on both sides, on the driver's side too. So that gives this corner a lot of strength, and I think that that's also going to help me, that if I don't get this just perfect, I can work with what I got here, get something filled in there, try to replace this piece here, and eventually that'll get covered up with the windshield, with the glass, and get sealed off. But that hole, it must have been a spot where water would lay it, and water would get in, and then what was actually happening, let me get inside here. What was actually happening, water was probably getting down in here and somehow working its way on the side here, and then I gotta get in here and clean that up. So it kind of affected this a little bit. But I think what happens, a lot of people don't see that, or a lot of times it happens a lot on these cars, and then that gets in here and that gets the floor wet and then rots this whole section out. I'm very fortunate that didn't really happen here. The only thing I had just a couple of little pinholes here. I was able to kind of weld them up, and the rest of the floor is nice and solid, both sides, the driver's side too. So that's what's happening here. You can kind of see a stamping here of the part number or whatever that was for this piece of the floorboard. So very fortunate that this car is as rust free as it is. This is just a lot of surface rust in here. I do have another repair I need to do, pretty much in the same, almost the same exact spot on the driver's side. Kind of see here, a couple little holes there. I'll have to drill out a couple of rivets. Kind of mark here with a marker where I want to cut it. To start with, I'll cut here and I'll cut across all the way to the end of the metal here. And then I'll pop that out, see what that looks like on the inside, and then go from there. Same thing, a little bit of surface rust, kind of worked its way down and probably made the carpet a little damp. I don't know, some of that, yeah, it's hard to see in here. Some of that water probably ended up inside the cowl on the side here, but I don't know if this is a common spot, but it seems like it's in the same spot on both sides. Maybe it has something to do with when they put the sealant on the glass or on the body. That was the spot where it wasn't quite just right, and then it just happened to be two weak spots. So I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna turn you guys off, and I'm gonna keep going what I'm doing here, and then I'll have some updates with what I come up with, and we'll see you in a little bit. I got updates. Did some work here on the windshield frame. Cut out the piece that is holy. These holes here are from the spot welds that went in here, and then the actual rust holes, I cut it right along the rust holes here, so I didn't want to come up too far onto the bend here. So found a little surprise when I took that piece off. I had to take another piece inside. Let's see if I can show you here without losing everything. There we go. So what I had to do, there was another piece that this piece continues on to the next one here. It's underneath this piece, and that was all pretty much non-existent, and it's kind of hard to see, but it's not too bad down in there. So what I had to do is in order to keep this piece straight and not kind of get all wonky with that empty space in there, I cut a new piece to fill in that gap. It'll go like right in there, like so. I'll tack it in, weld it in, and then cut it off even with this piece here, and then put this piece right back over that, and that'll be flush. That'll be flush here and here, and it'll just kind of end, kind of like what the factory did. It just came so far, and then it just ended, and there was a little bit of a bump there, and I had the spot welds. You can see that's how it was, like that. So that's this piece here. What I'm going to do inside of there wherever I can, it's kind of hard to get at. You can get at it a little bit from in here, but it's actually tucked up underneath here. What I'm going to put in there is I got some of this rust converter that I found offline. I think it works pretty good. It goes on kind of a milky color, and then it, like they all say, then it turns black, and then, you know, it does its job. And then I'll spray some some primer in there and some other stuff or whatever. And maybe after I'm done welding, I'll stick a can of like undercoating stuff, and I'll just smear it all in there. So this side pretty much the same. Driver's side. Here's the piece that came out, the spot welds, and this is the underside of that piece. You can see the little holes there. This side, surprisingly, not as bad. I thought it would be worse, but it's not as bad. But basically the same thing. I had to take a little piece out that were pretty much non-existent. Just make a little piece, kind of stick it in there. I'll tack it in, weld it in, cut it off even, and do the same thing here. I had to shape it. I got shrinker stretcher set from Hobo Freight. You know, you stick it in there and you squeeze it, and that's where all these little lines are from. Not too much, just a little bit. Easy to get carried away with that. But that's pretty much it there. Same thing. It's gonna come across and just end and kind of go on an angle like that. It's gonna get covered up. You won't even see it. You know, I'll know it's there, you'll know it's there, but the general public, whoever, won't even see it. So I'll do the same thing. I'll put some of that rust converter stuff in there, and there is a little access hole here. It's a round one. That side over there is square. This is a factory AC car, that's why it's got the big hole. So the heater core actually sits in here. The non-AC cars, there's a slot here, but because it's an AC car, it sits in here. And in order to get at that, you know, the hoses run here and everything. In order to get at that, you actually have to take the fender off. Kind of a pain in the ass, but hopefully I got a new one. Hopefully it'll be fine. And then all of this gets covered up. You can kind of see the outline. There's a big fiberglass plastic deal that goes on there. It's got the fan and all that. So hopefully I can get all that to work. But that's the update for now. I will, I'm not gonna, you guys seen all kinds of welding. You know, when I did this, you saw me do a little bit of welding. It's just a wire welder. It's just, you just tack it in a little bit. I'm not gonna teach you how to weld. You can go online, there's millions of videos to see that. So I will come back with an update when I have everything done, and then I'll show you what I got. Got some updates. Finished up welding, patching the windshield frame. Got some primer on there, some rust-proof primer. The copper color here, that's some weld-through primer that I used earlier before I started welding. It's not the best, but I think I'm going to do a little bit of body work there, and then the windshield and the rubber, and you know, that'll cover all that up. I just wanted to get rid of the holes so it doesn't leak. That's the passenger side. Here's the driver's side. Looks pretty good. So that's that for that. Continue watching for more updates. Thanks. And then I got to kind of do the same thing here. There's really no hold, but it's pretty rough. I want to replace some of these pieces here. Here and here, each corner. I think because the water lays in there, it gets pretty thin. So I want to fix that side up. There's some more over there. I'll kind of do a little update on that too. So, oh yeah, here's that flag again. Haven't taken it down yet, but pretty soon. With that, I will say, have a good day. Please like, subscribe, and forward, or whatever you want to call it, share. Try to get more videos out. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just trying to do whatever, and then we'll take care. So you take care. So long.